It all began in 1879. Football at Michigan looked different then, but the tradition of winning was being established. The man who took that tradition and etched it in stone was Fielding Yost. Just after the turn of the century, Yost began a 25-year run as head coach that saw Michigan win 165 games. As a matter of fact, in his first 4 years, Yost never tasted defeat. He became the standard for those who followed. For great coaches like Chrysler, Oosterbaan, and Elliott, Yost's record was too much. All these coaches were successful, but Yost was in another league. That is, until now. Bo Schembechler started winning games in 1969, and he hasn't stopped since. This past Saturday, he moved beyond the legendary Yost, winning his 166th game. Bo's first win at Michigan came against Vanderbilt in the opener of 1969, but his biggest win of the first 100 was his 8th of that first season. Schembechler took a heavy underdog against top-rated Ohio State. The Buckeyes were being called the team of the decade, but the 40-year-old Schembechler turned the tables and upset Ohio State 24-12 in what is arguably Michigan's biggest win ever. There have been many more since that November afternoon in 1969, 166 to be exact. Number 100 came against arch-rival Michigan State in 1979. Schembechler coached teams mirrored Yost's with precision on offense and a rock-hard defense. And above all, they played disciplined, fundamental football. It was only a matter of time before Bo passed Yost, and it isn't only the Michigan faithful that realize what a special coach Michigan has enjoyed for the past 18 years. Even the Schembechler opponents marvel at his accomplishments.
That Fielding was a great one. He was a great one, all right, but Bo's got him beat. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? And this doggone Schembechler, what you say about him being a fine man, I know. He is that. He is, and he knows football forwards and backwards. And if you expect to beat him, you won't beat him on mistakes, because he won't make many mistakes.
But like Woody, Bo shunned the limelight. He'll be the first to give credit to his players over the years who've helped him catch and pass the legendary Yost. To Schembechler, the credit for his record is like looking through a scrapbook. Memories of those men of Michigan who carried on a tradition started by a man named Yost and continued by a man named Schembechler.
Those are the youngsters that make it all worthwhile for you, isn't it?
A lot of great players there, Jim. A lot of them in the last 18 years, and that's the reason we've been lucky.
Nah, sometimes it's better to be good than lucky. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. You're both.
Well, let's just say that so far it's been a great 18 years, but we've had some great teams, and we've had some great players, and we've had a lot of fun. And, you know, it's nice to talk about that because we got one of those clubs this year.
Everybody asks this question. 166 victories. Not one can stand out, because there are a lot of important ones to you. But what one do you remember, do you think?
Most important victory is the victory that you think of in your playing career at Michigan, or some other player who played that won a big game, or 2 or 3 big games. For myself, anytime we won a big game, it was exciting. It was great in 1969 to win that 24-12 game against Ohio State because they were the greatest team in football. And by the same token, it was my first year there. There were a lot of guys there who were still my closest friends. And they had a tough time taking to me. You know that. You were one of them.
Well, you were a little tough.
And you know, it was hard for them. And yet, when we won that game, that was a pretty solid unit. And went on to the Rose Bowl. Unfortunately, I didn't make the last game.
Well, you'll be at the Rose Bowl this year, guaranteed.